Hey y'all, what's going on? It's your guy, Stuff. And I don't think today's video of me getting excited about my grandfather could have came at a better time. So as I mentioned in my last video, I lost my grandfather this month. I think it was the 5th, no the 8th, April 8th at 4:05 p.m. And I never forgot the feeling that I got. And everyone knows, or unless it's just me, but when it's your loved one, that's someone that you're really close with, that shit hits different. And before I jump back into that, what I wanted to get out was, I think today was the perfect time because I took a nap earlier today, right? And I had a dream about my grandfather. And it felt so good to see and hear his voice, to see him walking again, to be around him. And it just felt so calm. And that's why I said I've been kind of sitting on this. I know I've been trying to get it out and get my energy right and everything. But to me, that was the perfect time to do this video. So, I got somebody coming in. But I recall the feeling that I had. What's up, Chief? What's good with you?
I can't go.
What's up, for sure? And I recall the feelings that I had, I was just so angry. So angry. I've never been that angry before. I just wanted to hit something. Because that same day, I was just talking to him. Probably an hour, give or take. I was out doing my side gig, and I was on the phone with my grandmother because she was in there with him at the hospital. She was, just checking on him and everything and sitting with him for a little bit. And I remember hearing him like throwing up, and she was saying, he's throwing up. You need to get him some help, XYZ, trying to get him to sit up and everything. And I'm thinking, maybe his body was just reacting to something, but at the same time, I was like, y'all might want to check on that. I think his body's actually reacting with his issues that he got going on, right? And I didn't panic, and I didn't think, I didn't want to think that, but when my grandmother was like, Stefan, I'll call you back, I was like, man, I hope everything's okay. So she calls me back, probably about maybe 10 minutes after, or 20 minutes after that or so, and she said, yeah, he's asleep now, he's okay, they gave him something, he's not keeping the food down, XYZ. And I kid you not, bro, when I got home like an hour later, she called me and she said, I got bad news. And I just hear my mother in the background going off, sobbing, like she lost somebody. So I already knew, I already put it together. And to be honest, for a while now, I've been dreading that type of phone call. Like I just knew it was coming. I just hope we have more time. Those words followed by that phone call, followed by the words of, Stefan, I got bad news, Calvin passed. And it didn't hit me right away. I was just, I was trying to be strong for my grandmother, make sure she was okay. I was like, are you okay? Are you taking it all right? She's like, yeah, I'll be all right. And then, as soon as I got the phone, dog, I lost it. I lost it. And I still get a little emotional. Get a little emotional now. But I still get a little emotional just thinking about the feelings I had. Because, I try to make peace and understand, death is a part of life, And I knew in his condition, it was a matter of time, because he was supposed, according to the doctors, he was supposed to pass. Last year, they said that he had about 6 months to live. And after he beat that, we like, he's got a strong will to live. So we was like, okay, he'll make it through this year. At least closer to the end of the year, give or take, or maybe even he got another year. I think there's other things that happened while he was at this facility that I don't want to speak on yet because I can't speak on it. Yeah, those feelings have never left me. Like every time I think about how mad I was in those words, because you know, it starts to overwhelm me. Raven's in the room, she's working, she come out the room, she hears me, she's like, what's wrong? I said, no, I'm not all right, I'm not all right. And I told her what was going on, and she comes over and comforts me. She's holding me, and I just remember my fists were clenched so tight. I'm surprised I wasn't bleeding, but I was just, and I told her, I said, I'm so angry. I want to hit something. I don't ever think I've been that upset. And that day plays over in my head every so often. I'm just, it still does something to me, but for the most part, as I said, I've learned to make peace with it. But I just think it comes in stages because the first day, dog, like, I was waterworks on and off. Like, we went to the grocery store. I'm in the middle of the store thinking about my grandfather, thinking about what happened. Eyes bloodshot red. Just tears starting to come down. I take a moment to myself. If I'm over my phone scrolling, looking at something, tears going. Then by day 2, it was a little better, but day 2, the emotions were still there. Day 3 was getting there. And I think by day 3, I had finally collected myself and was like, you know what? We got to be strong. Show keep going. We got, it's just what we got to do. It's part of life. It's understanding. And that's when I say, well, let me have a conversation with myself. Excuse me. I said, let me have a conversation with myself to my grandfather. And I said, so long as I could just speak to him and see him from time to time, I'll be okay with that. And I was like, man, I sat there when I was in the court, I was talking to him. I said, dang, Pop, you know what I'm saying? Like, next time I see you, I owe you that haircut. I'm going to get you that haircut. The crazy thing was, so this is when I got back from Beamer Evasion, right? I was supposed to ride up to New Jersey with Deshaun because he had to go up there for work. And I was going to come up there and get my grandfather a haircut. I just talked to him, right? I ended up not going up there. And a day later, that Tuesday, I got the call. And honestly, if I was there, I probably would have did. I'm not gonna lie, if I was there to be there with him and just, I don't know, man. And I'm pretty strong with being on top of my emotions, but just something like that, you can never be ready for that. As much as you coach yourself and prepare yourself, you can never be ready for something like that. And I've been checking on my mother and grandmother since, calling them, checking on them, make sure everything cool. And, we're all happy now, we're all at peace. Crazy thing is my grandmother says sometimes in the middle of the night she wakes up because she hears his voice, her being called by him to, either get him some water or he dropped the remote or something. She just hears his voice. I think the first night it happened, she said that she actually got scared because she said, wait a minute, Calvin. And my mom, she's there, she's like, Mom, you must, it's natural to feel that, but he's not here, right? And she's like, I could have sworn I heard him. But she realized what was going on. We're all doing better. We're doing much better now. We have him in our thoughts. We still think about him. The funeral service is actually going to be this Saturday. So that's what's the 1st? No, my dates are wrong. The 2nd? My dates are wrong. Today's the 20th. Today's the 30th. So Thursday's the 1st, Friday's the 2nd. It's the 3rd. It's the 3rd, okay. And it's going to be in North Carolina where he's from. His wishes was to be cremated and buried between his mother and grandmother. And speaking of, So my grandmother and mother went to go see the body, and as you would imagine, it was an experience. Uh, Now, my grandmother's an OG. I don't know what it is, but I've never seen her cry. The most I've seen was her shed a tear. But when I talked to my mom about it, she said that, her way of coping is just, she has her moments away from everyone else, because I guess she don't want people to worry. But my mother said she needed to go see my grandfather, and she broke down a little bit, but she got herself together. And my grandmother sent me a picture. And when I knew I was at peace, is because when I saw the picture, it just felt like he was just taking a nap. Like, I'm looking at the picture of his body, and I zoomed in on his face. I wanted to see all the details. It looks like he's just taking a nap. And I know his schedule to a dime. He gets up about, his sleeping was crazy. But between 5 and 7, depending, a.m., he gets washed up. Then about 8 a.m. he has breakfast. And, we changed him after that. So he would take a nap probably between 9, and he'd be back up around 11 for lunch. But whenever he was taking his nap, that's the same face that I saw when I saw the picture that my grandmother sent me. And I felt okay. I was like, man, he looks like he's just taking a nap, man. It don't like we lost him. So I told myself, I'm gonna look at this as a way to celebrate life, celebrate his life. I won't be sad about it. And even with me, I've always said with my death, God forbid I go before it's my time, meaning, I prefer to die of old age, just natural causes, no illnesses, anything like that. And same as I look at me, I look at him or anyone else, I want to look at it as a celebration of life, because that man lived 78 years? 78 years. And on top of that, he's fought off a lot of illnesses and diseases. He's had like multiple strokes, multiple heart attacks, liver issues, just, issue after issue. And that man was strong. The man's heart was being pumped by a valve. However that word, I think attached, but he had a valve attached to his heart for the past couple of years. And that man was still rocking, tipping 80. And for that, or not just that, but growing up with him and up until, that point, my grandfather will be always one of the best examples of strength to me. He was a very strong man, strong-willed, and I appreciate him for being in my life. Appreciate him for looking at me as if I was his blood grandson, and being a positive role model male figure in my life. Now, do I got some funny stories with him? I do. I don't know if I want to add that to a second video. Well, I'll let it go. So, some of the funny things that happened with my grandfather. So, when of course, in my younger days, when I was a Casanova, had girls coming over out the buku, I swear to God, I used to introduce him as Sweet Dick Willie, because his middle name is Williams, right? So, I'd be like, what's up, Grandpa? This such and such. And she'd be like, oh, hey, how you doing? I'd be like, yeah, this is my grandfather, Sweet Dick Willie. And the funny thing is, this is how I knew he was my nigga. He would start laughing. He ain't scold me, he ain't get mad or nothing like that. I swear to God, this is what he would say. He'd be like, he'd do his laugh, and he'd be like, oh, I ain't that. I used to be. Every time I would say that was his line, I used to be, and he would laugh. And I was like, man, it's my dog, man. He cool. He ain't tripping, he ain't uptight. And it's not taken as disrespect. It was a moment. It was a bond between a young man and an older man. That was a male to male interaction. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate him for that. Another time was, I want to say I was outside with a couple of the homies, Sam and King and them, And I don't know what happened, but he was pissed off. Like, he might have just been annoyed already for something. But he had said something to me, and you know, I'm at an age now where I'm trying him. So I said something back to him that he said to me that I didn't like. And I wasn't paying attention. When I tell you, this nigga was fast as hell to be a man who had like a, you know, the stroke messed his walk up a bit. He was this close to catching me because he swung with his left, and he got the craziest left in the world. So I guess part of that was because with his stroke, it paralyzed his right side, so he can't really use his right arm. But his left, dog, he was like a super soldier in that one arm. And the reason I know it can relive that moment is because there was another time where he actually did get to me. We was right there in the middle of the hallway. If you've been in the house, you know how the house looks. We was in the hallway having a little debate. And I guess he said enough was enough. My man swung with the left so fast and caught me. And this was back when I was like slapboxing heavy and everything. I didn't see it coming. I'm like 16 at the time, so I'm sharp. I did not see that left coming. And I had so much respect for him, I didn't even do anything. And I think he understood because he didn't follow up, he didn't do anything. He just got that one little tap off, and that was it. I think I was just in shock. I was in disbelief that he really hit me. But that's family, you know, you learn to love, forgive, and you get over things and y'all build, and that's what builds a strong relationship between family. Gotta learn to let things go and get past all the negative bullshit. But yeah, I got plenty of memories I can hit y'all with when it comes to my grandfather. You know, again, I know him my whole life. I'll be 35 in June. I know that man for legit 34, going on 35 years. I'm gonna look back at this and this is gonna be memories, just so I'll never forget. That being said, man, I'm either gonna make another video right now because I do owe y'all some story times, but as you can see, I'm dressed for the gym, so I'll either hit the gym first and then shoot back up and do the story time. I don't know, I'll figure it out. I'm gonna just sit here for a second and just map it out and really reflect on this video because I hope that this touched y'all, because we all have loved ones that we lost, right? And I feel very vulnerable right now because I don't share too much with my family, with outside friends. Shit, but even with friends, I was this close to not telling. The only reason, Sam was the first person to find out. Then I hit the group chat and told Derek and Sakeem. And the only reason was because my grandmother asked me to ask Sam if his father needed any of our supplies, because his father has he's bedridden. You know, respectfully, I don't want to speak anything on his situation because that's their family. But that's the only reason Sam found out. And then from there, he was like, yeah, you know, don't feel like you can't tell us anything. So then I went and put it in the group chat that my grandfather passed. And one more thing before I end this video, Sam's such a real nigga. This nigga pulled up to the crib, talked to my grandma, had to sit down, comforted her,